Field's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Good Thursday morning and welcome to the Splash Live. Dave Scott here in our amazing Splash Studios with you on this incredible Thursday in the greater West Bloomfield area. Thank you very much for joining us on the program today. The Splash Live is part of 90 minutes local and live television each and every day. It starts with our program here, the Splash Live, and then quickly transitions over to Tyler Keefe and the MegaCast. Very local on the Splash. The MegaCast, of course, is our more regional program. We look at West Bloomfield, Oakland County, and the state of Michigan. So that's what we have lined up for you. Very easy to watch our programs across all of our channels, and that includes Civic Center TV. You'll find us on Comcast in the greater West Bloomfield area on Channel 15. If you happen to be a cable subscriber with AT&T, you'll find us there on Channel 99. They have a menu of all the local municipal television channels, and we're right in there. Pick West Bloomfield, Keegle Harbor, Sylvan Lake, or Orchard Lake, and tune in and watch our programs. And actually, it's kind of fun sometimes to see what's going on in our neighboring communities. You can check them out as well, as long as you promise to come back to Civic Center TV. You can also watch us on social media each and every day, and that includes our website, civiccentertv.com, where there's an enormous amount of live information and live video, and then the archives going all the way back to the beginning. So you can watch all that on Civic Center TV in full high definition. We're also available on Facebook and on YouTube Live when our programs are there, and you can always go back and check the archives out there as well. Facebook, YouTube Live video. And then we are live on the radio as you're driving around the greater West Bloomfield area. Tune in to the Big 89.3 FM, Lakes FM, and you'll be able to hear this and all of our other programming throughout the day right here on Civic Center TV. It's also simulcast on the radio. So let's take a look at the best news of the day, and that's got to be the weather. It is absolutely incredible here in greater West Bloomfield, and we are starting off, it's a little bit cool. It's 47 degrees right now, a little bit cool, but all in all, it's going to be a great day. We're going to be up to 65 degrees today with plenty of sun. Tomorrow making up to 72. Saturday at the 77. Thanks, Jared. The temperatures even look better when you zoom in a little bit. And as I take a look ahead of my computer here, my weather computer, as we get into the weekend, it says Sunday 80 degrees. So this really nice pattern of beautiful weather is going to carry all the way through. And most importantly, for our hardworking crews that will be out on Memorial Day at the Keegle Harbor Parade, the Sylvan Parade, and at the memorial service at Pine Lake Cemetery. And for you getting out and enjoying your Memorial Day activities and remembering those people that have made such a contribution to our country, the weather is going to be absolutely perfect for that. So we hope you enjoy the weather over the next couple of days. Gonna be absolutely terrific. So I found this video on Facebook this morning, and you know, this is not big news to anyone who lives in the greater West Bloomfield area, but Rachel Shepard put this video up. And she's got plenty of deer right in her backyard right here in West Bloomfield. And you know, you don't need to go up north to see deer around here. We have a ton of deer in our area. What a pretty deer walking around back in the garden, maybe dining on some of that garden. Hopefully that's not the case, Rachel. But really nice of her to put that beautiful video up this morning. And I can tell you, just like right at our Civic Center TV studios on Walnut Lake Road, between our studios and the municipal complex right next door, there's a big wooded area. We have a lot of deer right here in our own backyard. So a couple of things: enjoy the beauty as we are this morning, but also be very careful as you were driving around the area. Keep an eye out. That Bambi may be also sharing the road with you. So do be careful, especially first thing in the morning and at dusk. But Rachel, thank you for that wonderful video to start off our day. Well, here's kind of a weird news story from the West Bloomfield Police, but one that we do need to share with you. The police department tell us there's an increase in mail theft going on from the Big Blue USPS, United States Postal Service boxes. And the police now, it's getting to the point where our police department has recommended that you bring your outgoing mail right into the post office, your local post office in one of our communities. There have been recent thefts from the blue boxes in Farmington Hills, in Milford, in Westland, in Canton, in Grosse Pointe Farm, Farms, Royal Oak, and St. Clair Shores. So clearly there's a ring here in Metro Detroit that is working these mailboxes. What is wrong with these people? For goodness sakes, it's hard enough to get a letter to and fro these days, and then this nonsense is going on. But temporary recommendation from the West Bloomfield Police Department to take your mail right into the post office. They had the postal inspectors investigating these crimes, and they're in the process of replacing 49,000 antiquated boxes nationwide that have more of an electronic lock system on it that would make it much more difficult for the thefts to be going on. So if you drive up and down Orchard Lake Road every day, as so many of you do, you know there's a lot of activity in Orchard Lake Road, and especially this amazing large construction project with a multi-family apartment condo complex being built right on Orchard Lake Road on the west side of the road, right near where Northwestern Highway intersects with Orchard Lake Road. We've been talking about this. It's a great new complex, but in addition to the construction going on there, there's an awful lot of learning going on as well. And we see a post this morning on Facebook from Newman Smith Architects, and they say at the mixed use housing construction project at Orchard Lake Road, just north of Northwestern Highway here in West Bloomfield, that they are using that as a construction learning lab. And you can see some of the guys out there, not only is the work going on and we're getting this building built, but senior project manager Bob from Newman Smith says this lab allows the project team to share many of the intricacies of the project with other team members and provide them an immersive view of the construction process. So really good learning going on as we are building. And after all, you know, isn't that the way when people decades ago learned construction? They'd go out and they'd work with somebody else, gain some experience. Well, that's true for the architects and the planners to be able to see exactly what goes into these jobs. So a lot of learning and some great construction project going on right now. Projects going on in West Bloomfield, including this major one right in Orchard Lake Road. So we thought we would share that with you this morning. We are going to take a break. We're going to be back in a couple of minutes. Joining us on the show this morning is Scott Long. He is the Assistant Superintendent for Learning Services at the West Bloomfield School District. We're going to talk about our STEAM School of Choice. We'll tell you more about that. And Greg Flynn checks in, our fire chief, just back from Washington, D.C. at a major national conference supporting our first responders that he attended. He'll tell us all about it. That and more coming up on the Splash Live. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Watch Civic Center TV with our brand new live captions. To turn on live captions, go to civiccentertv.com and click Watch Live. In your web browser, click on the Options tab in the top right and find the Accessibilities tab. Then just switch on live captions to heighten your enjoyment of our local programming. Thank you so much for watching Civic Center TV.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Good morning and welcome back to the Splash Live. Dave Scott here, and it's always a lot of fun and always a good learning experience. We are joined by Greg Flynn, who is our fire chief here in West Bloomfield, and he joins us now on the Splash Live. Greg will be here in just a second, but he is just back from Washington, D.C. In fact, he arrived late yesterday afternoon at a conference we're going to hear all about, and a conference where they were celebrating, honoring, and and our first responders from around the country. We're all meeting, I'm sure, to share information, recognize those people that are making a big difference, and to do what fire guys and gals do when they get together. Joining us now, Greg Flynn from our West Bloomfield Fire headquarters here in West Bloomfield. Greg, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Dave. Good to be with you.
Well, thank you. I assume you had a safe and enjoyable trip to Washington, D.C.
I did. Maybe a little bit of an unknown fact here for our residents. I have the very fortunate honor of representing the state of Michigan through the International Association of Fire Chiefs Great Lakes Division. That's all of the states that touch the Great Lakes. I represent the state of Michigan on that, so that affords me some opportunities to attend some of these legislative type initiatives, especially at the federal level there in D.C. with some of my other colleagues from Michigan. I had Chief Joe Murray out of Dearborn and Chief Chris Stockline with me from Canton Township. So it was really a great visit.
All right, one of my favorite things when I was a student at West Bloomfield Schools is when the AV guy, usually me, rolled in the projector. I knew it was going to be a lot of fun. Okay, this is going to be an easy day. We don't have to take notes. We're going to watch a movie. So it's kind of movie day here on the Splash Live. We've got your pictures, and maybe you could take us through them because it was fascinating just looking at them. And we haven't had time to talk, so I thought if we just post them here, you can tell us tell us a little bit about your trip and what you experienced through the pictures that you were kind enough to bring with you today.
Well, first of all, the process starts months and months out, and here you have our Congresswoman, Haley Stevens, and what an advocate for the fire service and all of public safety within our community. And, with all the redistricting and things that have gone on, all of the members of Congress have been moved around. But she was a great visit. She was our first visit to start the day. And just her staff was very pleasant. We talk about initiatives like the Next Generation 911 and funding, national funding for the opportunities for education at the National Fire Academy, and initiatives on electric vehicles and charging stations and how the fire service interacts with that.
Well, very good, and she's not the only person you interacted. Let's just keep taking you through the slides. We don't want to see me; I want to see your pictures. So Jared's gonna hit the next one, and you can just continue to take us through the slideshow.
Sure, Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, and again, just first of all, we ranked her as the best office, the brightest, and of course, all these fire chiefs were partial to the red walls that we were surrounded by during her meeting. But just a very warm welcome from Congresswoman Dingell, and very much in tune with the language of the fire service. I know when she was I think it was in Chief Murray's district for a bit, but has been into engine houses and had lunch with the firefighters, and just again another advocate for us. So some of these were not too confrontational, right? The members of Congress were very supportive of the initiatives to continue federal funds for local fire departments here in Michigan.
All right, we'll head on to your next picture, but real quick, I always enjoy seeing Debbie Dingell, and I miss seeing her husband at the Mackinac Policy Conference, which I'll be at next week, a huge event put on by the Greater Detroit Chambers. So a lot of these political folks will have a chance to see them, and hopefully I'll bring some of that back to West Bloomfield myself. All right, here you are in our nation's capital one more time. Let's take a look.
So, yep, Rashida Tlaib, Congresswoman, what a great visit with her. Interesting, there was a call for a vote, and so staff had to take us down, and we met just outside of the congressional chambers there, and she was just very warm and welcoming, and we talked about issues and had some great conversation with her. I think that's one of the points about these visits, Dave, and things that you see probably here on the Splash is we get the most value when we talk to each other instead of about each other, right? And so we had a great conversation out there, And she said, "This is my favorite place to take pictures, with the Capitol in the background." And we couldn't agree with her more. And we were very grateful for her time, for all of the members of Congress. I mean, they are so busy moving in and out, voting on different policies and getting briefs and taking time for folks from back home that are in town visiting like we were.
All right, I'm hitting the button. Let's see what's the next. Oh, look at that. The Capitol Dome, of course.
Yeah, so in between, we were moving through with staffers, and there just was some times where we're like, "Hey, we just need to pause here." It's been, I've been to the Capitol many times, but always in awe of the beauty and the history that's there. With George Washington right there in the center, up there in the image, absolutely beautiful.
All right, do we have any more, Jared? Yep, there we go. A few more.
Alyssa Slotkin, again, a CIA background. With the Congresswoman, always open to honest conversations. And we spent a lot of time talking about her approach to really reaching across the aisle and being collective and working together, whether it's an R or a D in front of your name, that it's very important to do the people's work, and an advocate that she is for doing that. And she is such an easy conversationalist. Very much enjoyed our time with her. And there we were in the Rayburn room. Again, there was some voting going on, and so we were able to meet with her, not in her office, but we're just down from the minority leader's office. And that was pretty cool because they're walking by as well. So we saw many of our national congressional members there.
Okay, Jared, I don't know if we have any more pictures. Is there any? Yep, there we go. A few more.
Yep. John James there, the congressman, was in committee and in a hearing, and definitely wanted to meet with us. So some of the timing was challenging, and he said nope. His staff came out and said the congressman will be right out, and he met with us. He had some wonderful questions about electric vehicles and stored energy, very much wanting to get into an engine house back home. And so we'll definitely be reaching out to our friends within his district in the fire service to get the congressman more into the fire service so he can continue to advocate for those national dollars. And
you're on his turf. He wants to get on your turf. That makes a lot of sense, though. And it's got to feel good that our elected officials, I know that this is their job to do this, but it's got to feel good that they are there giving you time, caring about our first responders, and really doing everything they can to make sure that government in D.C. is doing what they need to do to help you get your job done back here at home.
It really is, Dave, and they're so approachable. And I think we get sometimes maybe some of that mis or disinformation through sound bites and questions sometimes taken out of context. So just to be able to sit one-on-one with them or one-on-three and have a conversation that is authentic without anything more than an iPhone camera around, but not these news snippets. It really was helpful, and we're very appreciative on behalf of, and we're representing the fire chiefs across this great state. We were just 3 that were fortunate enough to make that trip, but to move the fire service in the great state of Michigan forward. So we're grateful for that time.
All right, well, very good that our own is representing our state, Greg Flynn. So good to see that. We got a couple more real quick pictures. Another beautiful picture of the Capitol Dome. So glad you had time to do a little sightseeing. We got another photograph here of your big dinner. Tell us about this before we wrap up.
So the Congressional Fire Service Institute, this was started a few decades ago and is really bringing the fire service, the National Fire Service, together in D.C. once a year. Steny Hoyer was one of the he's in the fire caucus, and he was one of our keynote speakers, and just the importance of coming together and having a unified voice to move initiatives forward. It makes it much easier for our congressional members to do that when the fire service speaks with one voice, and that's what CFSI is focused on.
Well, thank you for sharing the trip. Mr. Flynn Goes to Washington, our segment here on Civic Center TV. Real quick before we go, we had a pretty significant fire in Farmington Hills a couple of days back, and it just was a great opportunity to see the cooperation that we have between our fire departments. When something major happens, each of our fire departments knows they're not on their own. You talk a little bit about that coordination and how you were able to come in and help Farmington Hills with their event, and then provide some much needed transportation and emergency services for some of the firemen on site.
the mutual aid is exactly what we refer to that as, Dave, and it is mutual. And we know that in our time of need, when we go back to the Heckman fire, who was right there helping us? Our friends from Farmington Hills. So we're continuing to refine that process, Dave, and make it nearly automatic, where there's not a delay whatsoever, and we're moving these resources to our neighbors just as quickly and efficiently as possible. And it's when times like when one of the firefighters may be injured or ill as a result of their duties, then we're right there ready to assist. And that's just what some of our medics did at that fire. And from my understanding from Chief Unruh, everybody is doing well in recovery and post fire. So that's what we look for at the end of each one of these. And we're always happy to be a good neighbor.
All right, I always get email. I got 10 more seconds. Final question. People see you on Civic Center TV, and then they see those circles behind you. I know what they are, but could you tell people watching what that is on your desk back there?
Sure. So these are challenge coins. And for example, when I was in DC, I received this Washington CFSI challenge coin. So there's a military history with them that maybe another time we can go into, but they're definitely a way of remembrance and a way we show gratitude to folks so that they remember a significant event like CFSI.
Well, I just wanted to make sure people knew they were something really important and weren't those Keurig coffee cup containers that are about the same size and can be multicolored. So,
Dave, I took my precious moments figurines out and put these in. So
it's a great tribute to you, the fire department, and everything you guys do. Greg Flynn, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Cheers. Thanks, Dave.
Talk to you soon. We're going to be back in a moment. We'll find out what's going on at the West Bloomfield Schools as Scott Long joins us, the Assistant Superintendent for Learning Services, when we return back in just a moment here on the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
Looking for a midweek meal? Keep the bag lunch at home this summer and enjoy street food in your neighborhood with Food Truck Tuesdays. Enjoy cuisine from around Michigan outside the WB Parks and Recreations Activity Center with a different vendor every Tuesday, like the Potato Bar on May 30th. All summer, every Tuesday, Food Truck Tuesday. This community update from Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Like what you see? Beautiful works of art, masterworks of metal, and accomplishments of artistry will be on display near you. All kinds of artists from all walks of life come together to celebrate their skill and appreciate their work's beauty. Hot Works presents the 2023 Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. Stop by July 29th and 30th between 2 and 10 p.m. between Powers and Daly off of Orchard Lake Road. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Splash Live. Dave Scott here. Tyler Keefe coming up just a couple of minutes on Civic Center TV with the MegaCast. You probably heard the term STEAM in referred to education: science, technology, education, arts, and math. And joining us now to talk a little bit more about that and some opportunities for students from around our area to attend the West Bloomfield Schools is Scott Long. He is the Assistant Superintendent for Learning Services. Hey, Scott, good morning. Welcome to the Splash. Good to have you with us.
How are you today, Dave?
I'm doing perfect, thank you.
That's what I like to hear.
You know, it's a really interesting time. When I went to West Bloomfield High School in the that long ago,
Right? Exactly, right?
When I went to school, you had to live right in the school district, or you couldn't go to school in West Bloomfield. And all of those rules have changed, and many of us think for the better. School of Choice is now open for grades 9 and 10 for people wanting to get into the STEAM program. Can you talk a little bit about that? and just how school of choice works and this exciting opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So we apply for school of choice through Section 105, which ultimately means that any student that lives in Oakland County may apply. And for the 9th and 10th grade experience, what's unique about it is the fact that it's actually a criteria-based application. So any student that's going to be in 9th or 10th grade next year can apply. And we look at specific criteria to be able to enter those students into the district. So one of the things that they do is they take a test on site with us. We also look at their academic grades and their core content area classes. We also look at what type of contributor they are to the community. And if they meet all of those criteria, then we say, hey, we'd love to have you in West Bloomfield. We think you're going to be a great addition to the school district and really live out our 4 C's, which is to be a contributor, a collaborator, a communicator, and a critical thinker. So that's what it's all about. And it's just an exciting time to be able to offer students a great experience within our school district.
Well, you know, and not to get political because we don't have time and I don't want to do it anyway, but we do hear a lot about, you know, alternatives to public education and how they can be specialized and offer all kinds of unique opportunities. And really, school of choice gives our public schools, quote unquote, public schools, an opportunity to offer some specialized services and compete for students as well. And I think it makes so much sense in this current environment.
Absolutely. And what's great about our STEAM program, whether you're a resident or a school of choice student, you have access to some really unique opportunities, real world based activities and learning experiences for kids that connect all those elements of STEAM, right? And another exciting part is that you probably know we recently passed a bond where we're actually going to be able to upgrade and update our STEAM and CTE spaces. So look out, because not only do we have great teachers and great programming and great learning experiences for those students, but now we're going to have the facilities to match it once we get going on that construction part of it over in high school.
And that kind of gets back to what I was talking about a minute ago. You know, competition certainly breeds excellence. That's kind of what our country is built on, I think people would say. And you folks are doing a great job here in West Bloomfield to make sure your product is exceptional and you continue to offer these exceptional programs. And that's why people want to be here. So kudos, congratulations. Will these students in this 9th and 10th grade program, will they then have an opportunity to continue in West Bloomfield after that, or is it just for those 2 years?
Great question, Dave. So once you meet the criteria and are accepted as a school of choice student, you remain with us in the district forever, right until you graduate. So they get to be able to continue that work all the way through. And it's really exciting to see students come in, have a great opportunity, rise to the occasion, and also make our community even better.
And purely from the business side for just a minute, having these additional students in our school district must help us financially as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So when we get a student from another school district within Oakland County, we get their fund balance, their pupil foundation allowance. That helps financially, absolutely.
All right. So that's great news. Anything else? We've got 30 seconds, Scott. You can probably take everything that's going on in the West Bloomfield schools and bundle it into something. But is there any other one thing you want to mention?
Speech. You know, at this time of year, you know, the sun is shining, kids are getting ready to be out of school, and it's an opportunity for me to really reflect. And as I reflect on this year, and I think about the work that Dr. Bazzi's done in her leadership, I'm just very thankful for the fact that we have a wonderful staff, a wonderful community, families that are really committed to that shared responsibility of education, and a wonderful board of education. I say it all the time to anybody that will ever listen. Working in this community is very invigorating and rewarding as an educator.
Scott, very good. You got it done in 30 seconds, too, and that's good because we got to go. We'll have this conversation more when we have some more time. Thank you very much, Scott Long, West Bloomfield Schools. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. Have a great day. That's the Splash Live for today. We'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, right here on Civic Center TV. So long.
Tune in for The Splash Live. Get acquainted with people, places, and activities that are live.